This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen On the Count of Three, a new dramedy from director Jerrod Carmichael. It follows best friends Val and Kevin, the former a depressed worker at a dead-end job, and the latter a patient at a psych ward. Val helps Kevin escape, having a plan for the two to kill themselves afterwards. Kevin is obviously hesitant, preferring to make the most of his final day. Soon enough, they settle on taking care of a few loose ends, from indulging in old pastimes to taking care of bad people. However, it's as they come to terms with these loose ends and those who will be left behind that they think a bit more about if there might be anything to live for after all. Needless to say, this movie gets pretty damn heavy right away, and only rarely does it ever have any moments where it lets up from its bleaker atmosphere. There is at least an ongoing tone of dark or black comedy, keeping things from falling too far into despair, and overall the story and plotting does have more going for it than just being two guys planning their deaths. It's more explorative than that, using Val and Kevin to look at different ways that depression can manifest or be expressed, whether it be quiet resignation and defeat, or repressed anger and frustration. Both characters are put into one of these states of mind from the start, and then the story and their actions are built around these somewhat dueling ideologies, creating a subtle, ongoing conflict, despite the two having pretty much agreed on the inevitable. The idea of a greater purpose to Val and Kevin's lives also brings a more immediate, if not crucial, conflict to their day, and definitely helps to build up their character arcs in general. Speaking of which, the chemistry between Jerrod Carmichael and Christopher Abbott, who portray Val and Kevin respectively, is especially fleshed out, and you do feel them to have been friends for a long time, especially in the lighter moments that see them opening up to each other or basking in some nostalgia, all of which comes with some well-written dialogue that feels like people talking to each other as people, rather than saying things for the sake of getting across the themes or some other ideas. Pretty much everything is treated with the right amount of weight for its subject matter, and the film knows when to be serious and when to take a step back from the edge. Though I will remark that when the third act rolls in, it's pretty much all on edge from that point forward. Not that it's a bad thing, of course. Anyways, the movie does have a pretty good amount of attention put into its technical presentation, starting with its on-location production design that obviously brings you directly into this world, with little, if any, indication of its events happening anywhere outside of reality, despite the sometimes absurd events that happen. Cinematography is pretty well varied, generally keeping things on a flat level but shifting or flowing into other angles and setups in line with the mental states of the characters, whether they be at peace or in turmoil. Editing also keeps things well paced, balancing Val and Kevin's different perspectives without breaking up the narrative unnaturally. It only breaks into their direct point of views once or twice, which seems like a missed opportunity, but in retrospect would have probably felt out of place, given how the rest of the story is presented. The film's audio and music choices are also a nice creative touch, reflecting thoughts made by Val about listening to music that explicitly states your emotions, by relying more on instrumentals to accent a scene. It's a small detail, but to me it cements the amount of attention that went into this film's construction and artistic design, especially for what is the director's debut feature. Coupled with how well it handles the themes of depression, I'd say that this is a great sign of things to come for him, and a good film regardless. On the count of 3, Jerrod Carmichael, 2022. 4.5 stars. I definitely recommend giving it a watch. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Given how heavy this movie gets, I think I'm just going to let the outro play out in silence. Then again, I usually cut it off after 20 seconds or so. Long enough for the pop-ups to pop up.